to kick off on our third portion, it's infrastructure. It is enablement and platforms. And so we have three industry finalists coming to speak with us for lightning talks. The first is Tamr, which is a data mastering platform. The second is Matroid, computer vision made easy. And then we have thirdly, DMI and Modzy. Their tagline is unlock the power of AI using machine learning operations. And so to start off, Tamr, over to you.
Good afternoon. I'm Ed Custer. I'm a Senior Solutions Engineer with Tamr. Tamr was created out of work at MIT to unify enterprise data by combining machine learning and human expertise to power transformational analytic and operational outcomes. We're in production across countless commercial and U.S. public sector and intelligence community customers. Tamr has been selected for the industry presentation focus of enablement and platforms, but we believe we're applicable across all of the industry focus areas being discussed today. Our patented human-guided machine learning software can look at multiple types of internal and external data sources, then combine it, categorize, and classify these data points for better analytic outcomes and true visibility into your hidden data. Best of all, the expert input is not necessarily input from a data scientist, as some others have pointed out today, but it's from someone that understands the data itself. So for one customer, it was their mechanics on the flight line for helicopter data. For another one, it's an intelligence analyst that understands a region of the globe where they're looking at specific geospatial data. We're the only master data management solution that can run on all of the major cloud platforms, or we could be Tamr hosted, or we can also support on-premise configurations. As mentioned, Tamr has numerous use cases across all types of commercial verticals, and we have done a phenomenal job with work for the Navy, Air Force, DHS, CBP, and many others. Now, please watch a short video that may help to provide a bit more understanding of the benefits we can provide. Please note the video refers to VPs and C-level personnel in a commercial organization, but because this could very easily be anybody in a department or an organization.
This is Jake. Today, as VP of Data, Jake has access to clean, curated, and continuously updated versions of his company's most important data, like its customers, products, and materials. This makes it simple for Jake to ensure accurate data is feeding operational and analytical systems across his organization. The clean data Jake delivers leads to happy customers and empowers his colleagues, from senior execs to analysts, to make improved data-driven decisions. Life is good for Jake, but it wasn't always this way. When Jake started as VP of Data, his company's data was a big problem. Like every large company, critical business data was scattered everywhere, like homegrown databases, ERP systems, CRMs, Excel, and more. Duplicate, incomplete, and out-of-date data sets were the rule, not the exception. It was a mess, and this mess made it impossible to get everyone on the same page about how to serve customers. Providing finance and customer support teams with up-to-date and complete customer profiles. And arm executives with trustworthy data to make business-critical decisions. But Jake realized something his predecessors did not. Big data wasn't the problem. The problem was bad data. Jake turned to Tamr. Tamr's machine learning does the heavy lifting to combine and clean enterprise data. It turns out machines are way better and cost-effective than people at doing his work. But most importantly, machine learning, well, it learns. By giving algorithms more data to spot patterns and predict behaviors, the system becomes smarter. And with the employees who are closest to the data validating the machine learning results, Tamr is incredibly accurate and repeatable. With Tamr, it is fast and easy to connect millions of records and thousands of rapidly changing internal and external data sources. to create master data sets that matter most to your business. Jake now has comprehensive, up-to-date views of his company's customers. But conquering customer data is just a start. Now he can move on to products, suppliers, and more to drive tangible business outcomes across the entire company at unprecedented speed. Talk to our data experts today to learn more about how cloud-native data mastering can help transform your business.
But here's an example from our software. This customer, they had what they believed were 250,000 unique customers in their various databases. And we brought 7 of their different data sets together. And what I'm showing you here is, it's what we call a cluster. It's an entity. And that they thought they had 11 different records across their 7 databases for a similar person you're seeing here named Diane Arney. You can see the variation in the person's address. You also see sparse data for date of birth and email. Tamr doesn't get confused with sparse data. We look for where there's signal. Imagine a person trying to find these 11 records out of 250,000 raw records. Just impossible. But that's where the machine learning comes in. It doesn't get tired. It can also assist as you're building your unified schema for your analytics and your warehousing applications, where we've got the unified schema on the right-hand side of this screen. Those little light bulbs are, again, one of our patents, where Tamr is making recommendations of how to do the mappings, additional columns that should be mapped together. And a third key point is we also work with geospatial data. So anything we can do with textual data, we can do with geospatial data as well. And now here you see where we've got geospatial points and polygons we've grouped together into a cluster. There happens to be textual information. Now we could also cross-link other textual-based information, things like social media, Twitter, Facebook, where you could actually then pinpoint, oh, this group, a group of people are planning to meet at the G Mud building at 2 p.m. And we can then bring that data set together and geospatial locate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the lightning talk. So then we're going to move on to our second presentation from Matroid, which is computer vision made simple.
All right. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Reza Zadeh, and just maybe a thumbs up if you hear me and see my screen. Excellent. Thank you. So I'm founder and CEO of Matroid. I'm a professor at Stanford as well, focused on machine learning. We've been working on Matroid for the past 6 years, so we're quite large now, and we've been around for a while. Previous to Matroid, I helped start Databricks, which is a big data company that I've seen the logo of in a few slides in today's presentations. It's heartwarming to see. So today we're going to talk about Matroid, and the basic idea is that we've seen many computer vision applications today. Matroid makes it very simple to create and deploy new computer vision applications. And we do that by giving the power of a computer vision CV to folks who are not programmers. So a non-programmer, someone who's a point and click, drag and drop user of a computer, can seamlessly connect hundreds of different camera manufacturers to Matroid, or to record it. These would be live video sources, or they can connect recorded video sources on the typical cloud providers. They can connect that to Matroid, which would either sit in a private cloud or the regular cloud. And Matroid provides a detector studio. A detector is basically like a metal detector detects metal, a Matroid detector detects whatever you want it to detect. The way that you can create detectors using Matroid, you can deploy them, and you can maintain them. So to create a detector, the product provides you with basically an automated machine learning data scientist, what's called an AutoML setup. So it automatically finds the best model for your detector, best machine learning model for your detector. We also have a label army. So we have hundreds of people that are either US government cleared, or for less sensitive applications, they are just sort of regular citizens who can help annotate any data sets that are necessary for creation of a detector. Say you're detecting something very strange, something weird and new, you can use our annotation army. And then that basically means you're just left with pointing and clicking and dragging and dropping to get real-time alerts for when things for when things happen. And you're able to go back in time and get analytics and statistics and have a visual search engine of what's going on. So I usually directly go into the product now. So this is the product. Here I'm getting live notifications from a variety of sources. This is a train station that I'm getting detections from for people walking onto the train station. This is, you just saw this come in. This is a bird feeder in Cornell University. I'm getting detections whenever birds show up. As we also were speaking, this is Syracuse International Airport. This airplane just lined up to this gate. So you just saw 3 live notifications. This one's in the UK, this one's in Cornell and Ithaca, and this one is in Syracuse. So Matroid is deployed in tens of thousands of video streams across the US and the UK. We're deployed and in use by tens of thousands of government officials across the US and the UK. And for a variety of use cases, thousands of different use cases. So you saw like a few 1 or 2 use cases today. We do thousands of different use cases. So some of these use cases can be really, really like boring and regular, like detecting people and cars. This is very simple, right? There's a lot of ability to do that, but then you can get very specific too. So this is when you're monitoring a stream live, you can get a situational awareness of what's going on in the stream. So here I'm seeing detections for things as weird as backpacks. This is on a very busy video stream. The Bloomberg TV channel is a super busy video stream. Things are happening all the time. I can ask for analytics. I can ask for, say, the removal of other detections except for backpacks here, for example. And then I can see that minutes ago, I saw this backpack detection. So for that I can get notifications, live notifications. And then if I ask for, say, gender detections on Bloomberg, I get tons and tons of detections here. Lots and lots of results, right? But then these results, there's too many of them. Instead of asking for results that overwhelm me, I can ask for analytics. So what happens is then I will get a overview of the male versus female detections on Bloomberg. So the top line here is male detections, the bottom line is female, and there's roughly 2 times as many male detections on Bloomberg than there are female, which is kind of interesting. It's a business channel, and somehow this is the skew that shows up on that channel. So we are very careful to be, not biased, but then sometimes you can apply AI tools to actually bring up the kinds of representational differences that occur even on some very popular TV channels. So if you cut it up by the hour of the day, the detections by the hour of the day, in the evening, there is closer to parity male versus female detections. So like I said, you can get very strange in what you're detecting. I have hundreds and hundreds of detectors. We have detectors for things like understanding the state of airplanes at airports. We have detectors for detecting dangerous items in X-ray imagery. So here, for example, this is the studio. This is where I can annotate examples of, say, guns or other items in X-ray imagery. We're deployed in a variety of airports and a variety of ports in general, looking for things that shouldn't be on board, right? And the way we're able to do that is by being able to detect whatever the customer wants and whatever the agents want, in this case, the Department of Homeland Security agents want. They see really weird things being smuggled all the time, and they want to be able to update their detector for the new weird thing. They're able to do that without having to constantly have a super long loop with a computer vision company that's outside. They're also able to go back in time and search the past. So here I have a data set of all of the video that was recorded off of a social media site called Parler on January 6th of 2021. And in that event, there was a bomber who we're trying to identify. This is public data. In the public data, we wanted to look for all of the sources of video imagery outside of Parler that may have been gathered so that the FBI and other investigative bodies can go out and look for the bomber. So in this case, we then searched for, show us all of the times that in video in Parler, a person with a camera was detected. And indeed, we in milliseconds went back in time and found all the other times where we saw someone holding a camera in Parler, which is public footage, in order to aid this investigation. This is public footage. I obviously can't show you any more footage than this, but we're basically helping catch someone who put bombs out on January 5th and 6th. this is, we get very.
Thank you, Reza.
Thank you.
Just for the sake of time, I'm gonna
I
close
was
out.
just about done. Yeah, I was just done. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'm excited to get into the question and answer period. So then lastly in this category, we have DMI Modzy, unlock the power of AI using ML operations.
So my name is Amy Barger. I'm with DMI, and we're here today with our partner Modzy. So DMI and Modzy have partnered together to help organizations unlock the power of AI using machine learning operations, or MLOps. Our experience has shown that many experimental AI projects don't make it into production because of challenges with deployment, security and governance, and lack of standards and compliance. To address this, DMI is bringing a holistic solution that combines our AI expertise and proven delivery methodologies with the power of Modzy, a leading MLOps platform that accelerates the deployment and adoption of AI across the enterprise. So I'm about to show you a short demo of the Modzy platform. It provides end-to-end functionality for deploying, running, integrating, and monitoring production AI across any enterprise or edge use case at scale. It offers a simple, modular, and modern architecture that gives agencies the flexibility, interoperability, and security to operationalize AI without disrupting existing technical stacks, tools, and workflows. I'll share a quick short demo.
Modzy is a unified AI and ML platform that provides a firm foundation for any AI tooling needed to address the COVID-19 pandemic and related problems. Beyond that, it can support virtually any AI use case that civilian agencies are pursuing. Our platform makes this possible by running any AI or ML model, by offering APIs that accelerate AI app development, by connecting to dozens of data sources and business apps, and by offering out-of-the-box analytics. One of Modzy's biggest benefits is its AI model library. Modzy supports any AI or machine learning model that civilian agencies might need, including statistical models, machine learning models, deep neural networks, or other simulations. Our platform offers a marketplace of best-in-class commercial models as well that support agency missions related to climate and the environment, pandemic preparedness, infrastructure, and more. Additionally, Modzy can host custom and open source models from other sources, teams, or vendors. This means that our platform could deploy, run, and monitor any AI models being presented by our other vendor colleagues here today, which allows Modzy to serve as an excellent collaboration hub. As an example, a civilian agency might be interested in using computer vision to analyze pavement conditions before making recommendations for infrastructure improvement projects. This pavement condition model would be a perfect fit for this application. Government employees can learn more about any models deployed to our platform. You can also use Modzy's UI to directly interact with this model, as we see here. Finally, Modzy's existing product integrations and copy and pastable APIs enable AI application development in a matter of hours. Now, to take this example a step further, it might become necessary to make this computer vision model available to a team of geospatial analysts, as they're the domain experts for this type of infrastructure analysis. Our platform's integrations into dozens of business applications like QGIS and ArcGIS make it trivial to expose these cutting-edge AI tools to other applications or users. Adding new AI capabilities is simple. Our platform provides a UI for uploading, testing, and deploying any new AI models. This makes it possible for civilian agencies to use models from leading computer vision or NLP vendors they may have contracts with, or to use their own in-house algorithms. Modzy provides full analytics capabilities for any models deployed to the platform. Dashboards provide information about model usage, model drift, explainability, and overall AI system health. Now, it should be expected of any unified AI and ML platform. Modzy can run on all the major cloud providers, can run on premises, and on air-gapped networks. We're also highly secure, offering FISMA moderate compliance, along with proprietary model security offerings, such as deepfake detection and adversarial defense. Now, one final benefit I want to leave you with is that our platform can run models truly anywhere. In addition to accelerated AI in the cloud or in the data center, Modzy can also support civilian missions that require AI and ML at the edge. This might include CCTVs.
So the key takeaway is that our solution fast tracks deployment of AI projects in pursuit of any agency's mission, allowing you to create and see value quicker. We protect your investments by making sure your AI projects are successful, and our solution reduces risk and increases AI alignment with human experiences. What makes our solution unique is that we not only bring a strong heritage of technology consulting, but the composability and interoperability of the Modzy platform means that agencies can pick best-of-breed solution components without fear of vendor lock, and you can deploy any type of model to serve any domain, whether built internally or contracted by a third party. I understand this presentation will be distributed. I've got contact information along with some supplemental material here. Thank you so much for your time.
Great. Thank you, Amy. So now we're going to go into some question and answers. And so this is a question I see from Ron Williams, head of the AI Challenge, in the chat. And it's a question for all panelists. How do you test your identification tools and models for accuracy, bias, and safety? And for tools that allow custom or open source models, how are those tested?
I can start with that if that's okay.
Yes, please.
So like I mentioned, Matroid gives the power to create and deploy these models to the customer. So we have the ability for them to check for these biases, the various types of bias that can occur from building a model yourself, and then that's actually really key in that allowing the customer to convince themselves that their model is not biased and giving the power of computer vision to them, as opposed to having a super long check that may or may not hold over time. As you know, models drift. If the model drifts, then it might suddenly become biased again. So this is really key that they can check for it themselves and are able to maintain that.
For Tamr, we can extract everything that has been trained and generated to what is the mathematics that creates the model. We can also, as we just mentioned, you can track the model with new data coming in daily, weekly, monthly to see if there is drift, and then adjust the model if needs be for that. But each model can be custom built for each type of application. You would build a model, say, to try to catch unsavory people that you don't want to get on airplanes. You would train that model one way, versus if you're trying to bring patient data together for people visiting hospitals, you would train that model entirely differently. And we have all the tools to do that.
Yeah, and quickly for Modzy, our product is really focused on transparency. We see that as being one of the number one elements of good AI governance. So within the platform, we provide tools and frameworks to let all of the documentation for each model to exist for comparison purposes. And in fact, we've actually been a part of a sort of government and industry collaboration to develop an open source transparency framework for use in essentially evaluating the trustworthiness of machine learning models. And happy to share more about that framework and that program in the future.
Thank you. And this is a second question. And again, it is for all panelists. What image is your company best at detecting that has the least false positives? And feel free to generalize this as well. We're also wondering, what are some of the most common use cases that you see from customers?
I can start with that. So a lot of our use cases fall into two big categories. One is security, where there is either a very high value estate or building that needs to be monitored for security. So there are all kinds of weird things that could happen. So for example, securing the White House, securing the Capitol, et cetera. And then another big category of use cases is manufacturers that are checking for really strange defects on whatever they manufacture. So every factory builds things. If they put a camera at the end of their production line, they can often check whatever they're creating for scratches, dents, bruises, blemishes, etc. So those are two very wide categories And we try and we typically have state-of-the-art models whenever a customer focuses on their use case.
Again, I would say think of Tamr as a general purpose Swiss Army knife. It can do things as far as tracking individuals getting onto airplanes, bringing all the disparate data together so you can identify what might be a bad actor to bring them out of the line for additional interviewing, to we work with sensor data for NavAir to do electronic data warfare, to doing procurement analysis for CBP so that they make sure they're not overspending on contracts. It's a very diverse portfolio of multiple types of applications that we support.
And on the Modzy front, we're also a generalizable platform, but I would say that some of the use cases that we've seen more and more from our existing customers and customers that we're talking to, certainly span the computer vision spectrum, whether that's insurance-based type of claim support, manufacturing. I think what Reza was talking about, absolutely something that we're seeing more and more of, as well as some of the safety things that we saw in earlier segments. And then I think language-based types of models and use cases are equally up there in terms of preference, whether that's transcription and translation to support, whether it's a back office application or some sort of support function like a help desk or tech support. We're seeing quite a bit of that right now.
Thank you. I really appreciate the lightning talks from all three of your companies, Tamr, Matroid, and DMI and Modzy, and excited to connect further.